Hey guys, this is Tony Benson with Wealth Builders HQ and creator of Patterns in a Flash. We're going to do a quick review of the patterns of the week that we found last week. And before we get to it, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. I'm not a registered broker-dealer investment advisor. I will not give you any recommendations or advice. Everything that we do here is purely for educational purposes. If we do mention a trade or say anything about a trade, just assume that it is a paper trade or a practice trade. For regulatory reasons, we do not discuss funded trading here. Now, with that being said, sorry, I just finished a workout. I thought I was done cooling off. Now we're going to work out with some stocks, some charts. Pattern of the week review. Last week we looked at Coupang, however you say that, CPNG. Let's just stick with ticker symbols. I can pronounce those, as long as I'm not mumbling too fast, right? Ascending triangle on Petrobras, PBR, and then a head and shoulders on Morgan Stanley, which was kind of an iffy pattern, but we took a look at it anyway. So bring up the charts real quick. And there is Coupang. Now, this one has played out well so far. You never know, right? You could get in and the thing just tanks tomorrow. It's very volatile stock, right? It's not that old. It came out. This is one of those weird ones that came out at 50 and it has just basically trended lower the whole time. It did find some support there about 26. We got a nice little double bottom out of it, as you can see. It broke the midpoint there about a week ago, a little over a week ago. And then just continued to kind of march forward. It hasn't really taken off like gangbusters. But it hasn't tanked either. But the one thing I am concerned about right here is the heavy volume on the little doji day right there, and then the spinning top that we had today. The heavier volume is a little bit of a red flag. It's not something I would panic over, but it's definitely an indication that there's a little tug of war going on. It doesn't mean the Bears are going to win. It just means that they're fighting back and forth, and they have maybe a little bit of an advantage. The Bears maybe a little tiny bit, but hard to say. So we'll see how that plays out. Morgan Stanley was a head and shoulders that was not very pretty. In fact, I modified this a little bit, the charting stuff, but it hasn't really played out. I didn't expect it to. So that's pretty much off the radar for right now. PBR, Petrobras, we were looking for this to actually break out to the upside. If it did, and it hasn't. So may keep an eye on it. I mean, it found that support level. You can see just a few days ago right there, that little short-term trend line we've got in play. It found that and took off from there. Of course, earnings is tomorrow, it looks like. So that's another thing we got to hold out for. It's earnings season, so we got to be careful. So, but those are the three from last week. Let's take a look at the other ones that were still on the radar. Beaky, actually, I know that at least one gentleman that is a longtime subscriber to Patterns in a Flash and uses the Patterns of the Week religiously. He took advantage of this one. He just messaged me the other day through the platform and said, Beaky was awesome. He had told me on this day right here about where he was at, and I'm not sure where he was at over those 2 days, but I'm certain that he got out at least part of his position. Because he would have been stopped out here, or at least probably stopped out with something. So all I know is his message said it was awesome, and of course, we're talking about paper trades, right? However you want to frame it. Cisco's another one that we looked at as a head and shoulders. It did kind of sort of hit right here, but that's something that I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on, and I didn't. So that's just sitting there now. We are kind of building another right shoulder if it drops off from here. That's a big if. Disney, another one to keep an eye on. This is a long-term head and shoulders. Not that beautiful, but it is starting into a downtrend. So watching this, there's an entry point I've got set right here. This is, again, a longer-term picture that I'm looking for a massive move down here to 136 if the head and shoulders plays out. So this would be something I'd probably buy 6 months to a year's worth of time and a long-term option on, but that's just me. Kraft Heinz, little inverted head and shoulders that has not played out, so that if it doesn't bounce back up, I'll take that off the radar next week. And then Starbucks broke back above the neckline, but today we got a big bearish engulfing pattern, and earnings is, I believe, tomorrow, yeah. Earnings is tomorrow at Starbucks. So we'll keep an eye on this and see what it does. Earnings have been hit and miss. You know, Microsoft bolted to the upside. Intel got hammered this last week. Another one, PayPal, I think. Some of the tech companies have gotten absolutely blasted and destroyed, and others have done exceptionally well. So it's a really mixed bag overall. So hard to say. So just be cautious of earnings and watch out unless you're on the right side. If you're on the right side, it's spectacular. If you're on the wrong side, it is no fun. So with that being said, this is the Pattern Whisperer signing off, saying if you're going to quit or if you're going to fail at just one thing, make sure you fail at quitting. Take care. God bless.
Folks, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the training. Now, if you did, be sure to give us a thumbs up and go ahead and hit the subscribe button right over here and hit the bell to keep up with all the latest trading content. And oh, did you know that we have a podcast? Supercharge your trading education with the Stock Market Millionaire, which you can find in the description down below. And while you're there, you can also find other amazing free trading resources that I've put together just for you.